Welcome to our weekly Forex forecast, and this is for trading for the week of April 22nd to 26th, 2019. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. All right, so we'll start off as usual by taking a look at our calendar here. So this week, excuse me, on Monday here, it's a bank holiday, and we see all over Europe here, everything is closed, as well as US, we do have existing home sales numbers coming up, but expect thin liquidity in the market. So there won't be a whole lot of stuff going on, slow market conditions, basically, just like we saw on Friday. And then into Tuesday here, we do have new homes sales data, Richmond Manufacturing Index, consumer confidence numbers for Eurozone. So these things are important. And actually, we have Bank of Japan here, core CPI year-over-year number. So this is the inflation number. Even though this is not marked as red news, the CPI number is very important, and the banks keep track of it. So this is an important one to pay attention to here. And in the Asian session, we'll see the CPI number for Australia here. On Wednesday, this is an important day here. We see Bank of Canada monetary policy report here and the rate statement. So interest rate is not expected to change at this point. So previously, Bank of Canada, they were a little bit, they have changed their language a bit. So before they were raising rates, and now they have decided to hold the rate steady. And actually they are concerned about the economy. And if that commentary stays the same, then it will be okay. But any changes, whether to some more negative language, or if we have more positive language coming out of them, that will have an impact. But otherwise, that is the Bank of Canada stance. And then we have Bank of Japan here. So Bank of Japan has been talking about easing the monetary policy further and providing more liquidity into the markets. That is actually, when they start printing more money, that or easing the monetary policy, that is bad for the currency. So if they continue down that path, of those comments like that, it will have a negative impact on Japanese yen, which means the Japanese crosses can go up against the yen. So keep that in mind. Bank of Japan is concerned right now with they don't want their currency to become more expensive because it will have a negative impact on exports. So they have been a little bit more vocal about their willingness to ease monetary policy further. So keep an eye on this. This will be important. And then, of course, there's Bank of Japan press conference later after this comes out. So usually this comes out in Asian session, and then we have press conference a little bit later, about half an hour later. And then on Thursday here, we do have core durable goods order here, trade balance number for New Zealand here, that will be important. And on Friday, we have Swiss National Bank, Chairman Jordan speaking, and GDP numbers for the US. So not a ton of crazy amount of data here, but Wednesday here will be important with two central bankers coming out with their monetary policy statements. All right, so let's move on to our charts. Last week, we had Euro went into the support resistance level here and was not able to get through. So as we can see here, Euro dollar has been trading in this range for the last 4 or 5 weeks after it closed here. So it's still in range here. It has rejected the top of the range. So here I would look for price to go further down towards the bottom of the range here. And then it will depend. Can we see the price break through this or not. So last 2 times price rejected this level, so that can happen again. So watch out for this type of a price movement where price goes into the bottom of the range, which is 1.1820. And if it does not get through, then it can go back into the range and potentially all the way higher as well. So that's what I'm expecting right now. That's my base case scenario. Now, should price break through the bottom, then it can go to the next level. But the support resistance level here is very important because twice, like I said, price has rejected this level. On the way up, this proved to be a problematic level as well. So watch out for the reaction depending on if the price stays above our support level, does not break through, then its chances are it will go back into the range like it has done over the last 4 weeks previously. If it does manages to break through, then we have a lot more room to the downside. And in that case, the target would be 1.1020, and potentially it can go into the next level support resistance at 1.0860. But chances are it comes into the bottom of the range and then bounces off of that. So keep that in mind. Euro dollar is range bound currently and looking for it to come lower into 1.1820 level. Pound dollar here, we have seen pound drop here last week. It also got stuck into support resistance here. And now we have a bearish candle close for the week here. As such, I would be looking for a further drop here. And the target here would be, again, actually very important thing to remember here. This is actually quite critical here. For last several weeks here, price has not broken through the support level. So now we have this descending triangle here and price is right into support. But the most important thing to remember is we do need to see a break for a continuation to the downside. So bias is bearish right now, and I will look for a drop. But very, very important to keep in mind, just like we talked about with euro, we have to see a break for a continuation. Otherwise, price could just bounce back up and go back into this range here. See how price has been rejecting this level, so it can just go back. So that's something to keep in mind. So very important to see a break of 1.2980 level. And then the target is 1.2850 and 1.2780. So bearish bias here for pound dollar. Aussie dollar here, this one as well. We saw that price went higher and then could not break the support resistance level here. As we see, this was an important support resistance level where price has reacted multiple times, and it did a test, went up slightly to test the high there, and then has dropped. So now we have a bearish candle close, and as we can see, this has been trading in a bit of a range here as well for several weeks. So now price has rejected the high of the range here. So I'm looking for price to drop. So this is a bearish, and I will look for price to drop. So target here is 0.7050 and then 0.7020. So bearish bias here for Aussie dollar as well. Same thing here for a New Zealand dollar. We have seen that price was not able to break the support resistance level. That was an important level, and has then dropped. So it did a test and then dropped. So now this is looking bearish. So looking for price to move back lower here. So bearish bias, and again, we need to see a break. So we need to see a break. Actually, this one could pull back higher into this 0.6720 level, and then looking for a drop. So bias is bearish. Target is 0.6580. So bearish bias here for New Zealand dollar as well. Dollar CAD here, as we can see, this one has also been range bound here for a little while. So if you go to the weekly chart, this is the range that it has been trading in. So from a weekly perspective, we have a range that is a little bit wider than the daily was showing us. So this is the range. So price has rejected the bottom of the range, and now we have a bullish candle close. So we will look for price to go higher. and target would be 1.3480 level here. So bullish bias for dollar CAD. And yeah, so just looking for price to go towards the high of the range here. 1.3480 is the target. Euro pound here, Euro pound hasn't really done much. It's just been, again, trading in this range here for the last several weeks now. It's just going sideways. So right now, we see that price is reacting here. It's not able to break this support resistance level. Again, this is important because it's tested this level several times. So looking for price to come back into the range here, we have a small little candle. So looking for a retest and then a potential drop here. So bias is bearish. Now we have had several bullish candles. So if it does go through, then it could go higher. But my base case scenario is that I would look for price to drop. It looks like it wants to turn because it hasn't really moved much in the last little while. So let's take a look at the daily chart once again. So see how price is just compressing into this level, which means it could drop. So I will look for price to come back towards the middle of the range and then potentially towards the bottom of the range. So bias is bearish. Euro Swiss franc here, this one has just been on a one-way track here all the way from the bottom, and now we are moving higher. So we have another bullish candle close, but now we are coming close to our resistance level. So just be careful with this one because things could change. So bias is still bullish. First target is 1.1450 and then potentially 1.1500. So bullish bias, but do watch out because this one has had a nice long right here to the upside, and now we could see price drop here because it is into resistance, and this resistance is very, very important. As we can see, price reacted on the way down and finally broke through, could not make it through, and I would look for a similar reaction here as well. So right now, bias is bullish. First target, 1.1450. Second target, 1.1500. And here we could see price turn around again. So watch out, but bullish for now. Pound Swiss franc here, this one has gone up as well, but not quite as solidly as we saw euro go up. So the candle close here is bullish. But as we can see here, this is into resistance here as well. So going back to the daily here, we see that price is into resistance. So this is a good support resistance level here. So if price does not manage to break through here, we could see price come back down. So this is an important level to keep in mind, 1.3200. So if price does not break 1.3200, then chances are it could drop. But from a weekly perspective, it is a bullish candle. So if it does break, then we're looking for 1.3340 and potentially all the way into 1.3420. But watch out for 1.3200. If it does not break, then this is the range that it's been in the last 4 weeks. I would expect it to come back into the range again. Dollar Swiss franc here, this one has been super bullish. And now we are all the way into our resistance level there. So bias is still bullish, but watch out because now we are getting into some strong support resistance levels. So with this one, bias is bullish, and I would look for something like this. If it gets through, then a 1.0245 level. But otherwise, it could come into trouble right here. For now, though, this is looking bullish, so bias is bullish. But if it doesn't break 1.015 level, then chances are it could reverse from there. So watch out, but bias is bullish. Pound yen here, this one has dropped from our resistance level. This is similar to what we talked about in pound Swiss franc. See how we have a bearish candle, then candles pushed higher. Same thing here. We had a bearish candle and then these candles pushed higher, and now we have had a bearish close. So bias is bearish here. Price was not able to break the resistance, and pound Swiss could do something similar. So just wanted to point that out. But with this one, bias is bearish, looking for it to drop further. And this is also in a range. So I will look for price to go back into the bottom of the range, which is at a 143.80. So it hasn't broken this level in some time. So that's our first target. Should it break that, only if it actually breaks this level, then we can look at 141. But otherwise, the target for now is 143.80 for pound yen. So bearish bias there. Euro yen here, this one is also bearish here. We have seen price go up, could not break this resistance level, and has given us a bearish candle from there. So bearish bias here, looking for it to drop and looking for price to go back in towards the middle of the range and then potentially the bottom of this range. So bearish bias here for Euro yen. Target is 123.80. So bearish bias here. Dollar yen here, this one seems to be getting stuck at this resistance level. So chances are this could drop here as well. US dollar was strong last week, and as a result, these ones haven't really moved very much. So dollar yen hasn't moved because yen was strong as well. So with this one here, looks like price is rejecting the high, and as long as it stays within, or I should say, as long as it stays below 112.20, chances are it would drop. So looking for price to come back lower here into 110.20 level, or potentially all the way into 109.80. So bearish bias here for dollar yen as well. Aussie yen here, this one has also dropped here this week. So we again had support, strong support resistance level here, and price has dropped from there. So bias is bearish, but do keep in mind this is into support right now, and it seems to be struggling there. So it has to break through 79.80 level, but overall though bias is bearish. 79.00 is the first target, 77.50 is the second target to the downside. But watch out for the support into this 80 level here. So it has to break for it to continue lower. Bias is bearish. New Zealand yen. New Zealand yen also dropped last week, and bias here is bearish. Again, price could not break through the support resistance level, and we have seen a nice bearish engulfing candle close here. So looking for it to drop further. First target is 74.50, which is fairly close. So let's move that down. So let's just say overall target here is 73.80, looking for price to come back down here. And if it breaks through, only then 72.80, but 73.80 first and 72.80 second. So bearish bias for New Zealand yen as well. CAD yen here, this one also looks bearish. We have seen price reject the resistance level there. So looking for it to drop further. We have a nice pin bar. First target is 82.20 and then 81.60. So bearish bias for CAD yen. All right, so let's move on to commodities here. We have gold. Gold has been interesting. Last week we talked about this pin bar, and now we have seen that drop here. So this is a nice bearish close here. Prices below our support level that we talked about, 1282, and now we have a good strong close. So looking for this to drop further, 1264, actually let's go to 1257 would be the next target, and then we have 1250. So bearish bias here for gold, and we could see price do one of these. So watch out for a pullback into 1282 level, and then potential drop. So bias is bearish for gold. Target is 1257 and then 1250. Silver here. Silver has been kind of going sideways here, so not much of a move. It is still holding the overall downward bias, but it has to break the support in order to continue. And as we can see, it is into support levels here, strong resistance turning into support here. Overall, though, bias is bearish. This week, it is neutral because it hasn't gone anywhere. Open and close are the same. We have an indecision candle. So this week bias is neutral, but overall bias here is bearish. So once price breaks the low, then we can look for next level, which is 14.63 and potentially into 14.50. So bias is neutral for this week, but overall bearish for silver. Next target, 14.63 and 14.50. Oil here. Oil has also been range bound here. We're looking at a daily chart. Price has just gone sideways. It's been trading in this range for some time. So looking at the weekly, as we can see, it is into support resistance level, this strong support resistance level here, and it has traded in this range. So in this case, what we can expect is I would look for price to basically stay range bound and wait for it to get out of the or come out of the range for us to really take a decision on this. So right now, bias is neutral. And once it breaks the range, then we can look for either a drop like this and a continuation, or unless it decides to go upwards, then it could go into the next level here. So for now, it is neutral, and we just need to see a break to either side. So as we can see, we have a spinning top here, neutral bias for oil. So I would expect it to trade between 64.85 to 63 level here. And once it comes out, then we'll take a look again. Copper here, copper's not really, it hasn't done much. It went into the top of the range. As we can see, this is range bound as well. It has been for the last several weeks now. So we have a bearish pin bar here for copper this week. So I would look for it to drop further and come back towards 2.80. So bearish bias here for copper. Bitcoin here, I have not, this is not an updated chart just yet because my broker doesn't work. I mean, they're not, they don't trade on the weekend. So do take a look at the overall Bitcoin chart. But right now, this has been trading sideways here for a while and hasn't really broken to either side. So it's into the high of the range here. And if it doesn't break through, I will look for a price to come into the bottom of the range. So we need to see a break for it to continue higher. And if it does continue higher, we could see a big jump up because we have this flag formation. So price is going sideways. And if it were to break to the upside, then we could potentially see it go all the way up here. But again, we have to look for a break. It has to break higher for this to happen. Otherwise, if it does not break, chances are it will come back down towards the bottom of this range it's been trading in. So right now, range bound, and if it doesn't break, chances are it will come down towards 47.85 level here. All right, so let's take a look at our equities here. Equities are at an interesting point. We are almost into the highs here, into the really all-time highs. As we can see, price has not been at this level in a long time, since 2014 here. So at all-time highs. Now, this is still looking bullish, and this one could go higher. It's not a very good candle, so it's not a strong candle. So it could do, it could turn around as well though. But for now, it is looking, overall, this move is still bullish because it's still trending higher. So it could go to the next level and then come back down. So that's what I would look for price to perhaps try another push higher before it drops here. So next target is 29.40 level here, and then we can look for price to reverse. Right now though, S&P 500 is looking bullish, but I would be cautious just because the candles are not looking as strong as they did before. All right, NASDAQ here, this one is looking quite bullish, but see, we are right into resistance. So watch out for this one, because see how we had bullishness in this, and then we had a bullish candle, but it reversed right away. So watch out for that, because it is into strong resistance, but which is not to say that it cannot go further. As we can see, it is at all-time highs. So I would expect a reaction there, and price could turn around right there. So it could be a triple top type of formation. So watch out, be cautious. It is looking bullish though, which means it could go further. But my first instinct will be to look for a reversal here, then pushing forward with this one. Okay, Nikkei here. Nikkei is looking bullish still as well. So next target is 22,736 here. So looking bullish. It could go all the way into this level here, which is 22,950 level. But the first one is 22, let's say 22,700 and then 22,950. So bullish bias here for Nikkei. DAX here, this one is looking bullish as well. Quite a strong candle close here. Next target is a 12480. So bullish bias here for DAX as well. And FTSE is also looking bullish here. It's trying to push higher. It is coming close to resistance though, so watch out for that. Next target is 7550 and then 7650. So bullish bias for now for FTSE as well. All right, any questions before we wrap it up? Yeah, you know, it is helpful to do it with a group, because I think analysis is one of those things we tend not to do, or you know, we tend to skip most often, but it is very, very important. So yes, I am glad to see you here, Tammy. All right, so we'll wrap it up. You guys have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and I will be back again next time. Bye for now.